It is good to know that you are with us on Nigeria Now. This is Equa Television International. And remember, the show is live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can join us so that we'll have this conversation together on what we're going to be discussing, so that you give your own input and then let someone hear your voice out there on the issues that are trending in the Nigerian environment. You know, wherever you're watching, just know that you can put your own voice on this issue that we'll be discussing today. So thank you. Just sit tight and then let's do this together. But I'm not doing this alone. I have Joyce Dekada.
Pleasant afternoon to you, Sabu Solomon, and yes. Good afternoon to our viewers out there. It's indeed a great day, and
sure.
Of course, this is Nigeria Now.
Well, before, during, and after the election, so many issues, and then which we've been looking at, you know, response left, right, and center from political gladiators, political parties, you know, people giving their own views on issues raised by some political party that are not satisfied with the outcome of the general election, and then the spokespersons of all these gladiators and parties, you know, everyone giving his own interpretation. But it is one thing that we should know, that now we are done with the process of election. Now it's back to court, because people that are not really cool with whatever that happened during the election, during and after the election, you know, the legal way to seek justice is to go to the judiciary, and the judiciary will do their work by cross-checking, looking at whatever their prayers that are, and then giving a verdict on that based on what at the end they will find out, and then give their own judgment. But still, you know, we are looking forward to May 29, whereby the new regime will take over, and then you hear about political actors plotting interim government by DSS, and it's really worrisome. And you ask, this plot, where are they coming from? And then you hear is that political actors, not military, you know. So the two, I'm just worried about it. Is it good for our democracy?
Well, if you ask me, this is not even news, because even before the election, there were already rumors of interim governments, and basically by some individuals. And just yesterday, the DSS actually confirmed the interim government plot by some political actors. Amazing and interesting how it is. People are asking questions, not even the military, some politicians and all of that. But just like you said, going by the 2023 general elections, we saw how that the elections, it has come and gone. People are already in court, aggrieved parties and all of that. They are losers, they are winners. Like we always refer to it, more like a game. And at the end of this, somebody will emerge. And we saw after the presidential election, the INEC declared Tinubu of the APC as president in schedule. Yes, and all of that. But one thing to note is the fact that the 2023 general couldn't vote because of intimidations and threats. There were allegations of electoral fraud. There were also questions on the sanctity of the ballot. There were also people agitating, protesting, and even international observers talking about the irregularities and some of the operational failures that were encountered. And I think due to also INEC going against its electoral act, going by the provision of its electoral act, especially that of transmitting results in real time and uploading results from the polling unit, over 170,000 polling units in Nigeria in real time to the IRS, that Nigerians can actually have access to it, were some of the issues that were encountered. And no wonder some people have tore the part of the court. Like we've seen how the Labour Party, PDP, and other three political parties have gone to court calling for the cancellation, calling for review, amongst other things. And that is what you would expect, that when people going by the constitutional provision, if you agree, if you think it is not properly done, well, then you can go to court after declaration, and these people have gone to court. We've also seen instances where party supporters have protested. Labour Party, there are some of their supporters that went on the street saying, no, this is not the mandate of the people. Like INEC should do the needful. We saw that also PDP supporters, even led by the presidential candidate, storm Abuja, and then they also protested. We saw some people that called themselves native of Abuja also as supporters of APC coming out to say the election was pretty fair and credible. We also saw the president-elect coming out to say, oh, I'm extending the olive branch so that other political parties can come, so we work together with them and build Nigeria. But of course, the atmosphere is tense. People are not happy, and regardless of extending of the olive branch, Labour Party, PDP have gone to court, amongst others, and all eyes are actually on the judiciary to ensure that they uphold integrity, to ensure that whatever they are going to be doing is going to be about the people, not some political actors, not some individuals, because of course they are there to serve the people. They are there for Nigeria as a whole and not just for some individuals. But then just yesterday, the DSS are actually confirming interim government plots and talking about some politicians being behind it. And some people are already saying, oh, how possible is this? And DSS in the same report, in the same statement, talk about the fact that there's going to be some form of protest. And from the protest, that is when it's going to resort to crisis. And from there's going to be state of emergency, and then the interim government, and then with this information, of course, it is with the uneasy political atmosphere, this speculation now by the DSS, of course, is putting the nation in that is thinking about transition in really like in pressure like that. And then people have asked a lot of questions. So how possible is all of this? And in the same statement, they talked about the judiciary being used, the media should be careful. They cautioned the civil society organizations that as well, and some people that might want to protest. And I was asking myself the question, does that mean the DSS don't even have confidence in the judiciary? Because right now people have resorted to the court, and you're saying that judiciary, they are going to use this as like some of the mechanism. And talking about people protesting, I think Nigerians have the right to protest. It is constitutional. They have the right to peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. So when they talk about demonstration, I think it's normal and constitutional. And when we talk about declaring of state of emergency, some people will opine that, oh, the only person that has the constitutional right, it is the president as well as the National Assembly. When you go to section 305 of the Constitution, that's where the power to declare state of emergency is being given to the president. And that is when there's complete breakdown of law, and that is when the president can. So some people are opining, oh, if DSS are saying there is plan for protest and it will lead to state of emergency, so does that mean you are revealing plot by President and National Assembly? Why not write the memo directly to them? You get, but because considering the fact that, oh, it is only the president and the National Assembly, not the politicians that have the right to declare state. But well, DSS have tried to explain the fact that this is what is obtainable if the protest resort to crisis and all of that. At the end of the day, the president will have no choice than to invoke section 305 of the Constitution by declaring a state of emergency. But what is the implication of this interim government that has kept a lot of people worried is the fact that the delicate precedent of it's going to be a delicate precedent of a reminder of the 1993 election that brought about an interim government by the former military dictator General Ibrahim Babangida. And people have also talked about the fact that, oh, will posterity be able to preserve this democracy that we have? Because we're a democratic nation, and then beyond being a democratic nation, we have rule of law. So there's no place in the Constitution that gives room for interim government. There's no provision for that. When you ask of, who has the power to truncate a government, people can just lead you to section 2 subsection 1 of the Constitution, which says that the affairs of the government is going to be strictly under the constitution. Operation of the government has to be guided by the constitution. And then when you go to the constitution, there's no provision for the interim government. So I think people have reacted following this news. The APC have come out to say, oh, DSS, can you kindly go and arrest all these people that are involved? Because people say, oh, since you know them, they said some political actors. And even though they have sent warnings to them, but can you just unravel these people? Can you just go and grab these people since you know them, so that we don't just put Nigerians in a state of confusion? PDP have also called on the DSS to ensure that they also go after these people that are trying to introduce to bring about this issue of interim government, because it's going to be debilitating on our democracy. But one comment that stands out is that of the Labour Party. They said even though they are not stopping the DSS from performing their constitutional duty, but they want to remind them, when MC Olomo in Lagos State was making some threats, making people, telling people not to come out and vote if they are not supporting certain candidates and all of that, where were the DSS? The DSS is supposed to be an institution that will ensure security, safety, calmness, order in the nation. And it is not an institution that is going to work with certain political party or just work for some gladiators or some individuals, but they are there to work for the entirety of the nation. So when some Nigerians were disenfranchised, were intimidated, where were you? We've seen situations where individuals have even made comments, tweets that were geared toward bringing about disunity. Some people played ethnic card even during and before the elections, and we didn't see the DSS doing anything. Even though some people have opined, like the police saying that, oh, MC Olumo made another video saying that, that what I did, the previous video, what I was saying was just a joke. But it did not come to pass during the gubernatorial election.
It came to pass.
So I think our institutions should understand that they are there to work for the generality of the nation and not just for some individuals. While the Labour Party are saying, oh, we're not stopping you, but we will not be intimidated by the threat of interim government, the needful must be done. So let's not begin to say, oh, the protest, these protests, people have right to peaceful protest. At the end of the day, let the right thing be done.
Well, it's a thing of concern because, you know, our democracy, should I say, is still a nursing democracy? Or because, you see, since 1999, you know, after the return of democracy, there's no any breach. You know, we had this smooth transition from this from one political party to another. We had PDP and PDP to APC, and then now we're looking forward to see handing over from APC to APC, and that is what is generating all of this issue because of how the electoral empire, you know, managed the election of the 2023 general election, which I feel it is the reason why Nigerians are agitating, you know, for justice, because they feel in some areas they are being shortchanged. Yes, there's no doubt, you know, in some areas the electoral empire did what she's supposed to do, which is right, and then they got it right. And then some areas, you know, that you mentioned earlier, that even some international observers feel that, yeah, they really perform below standard. And that is what is raising all these issues, that some of them have to say, okay, we are not just living in this, we are looking for justice. And where can you get justice? At the court of law of the land. And then that is why some of them are going to the tribunal to seek for justice, to seek redress. And then now this issue of interim government now is coming. But, you know, one thing for sure is that anything about interim government is illegal. It's illegal. And then if you go ahead, you know, trying to make sure that comes to pass, you will be charged with treason. And treason, the penalty is death. So I don't think there will be any Nigerian that is patriotic, that love democracy, that see our democracy like growing up to this time, and then just with a tinkle of an eye, everything will just go down the drain. I don't think there will be any patriotic politician or patriotic Nigeria that would try to sabotage that. So I see it this way. Great, arrest those people, but not just arrest them. Can we know these people if they are Nigerians? Because for me, I would say these people are enemy of democracy. These people are enemy of Nigeria. If you allow me, I would say that, because if you say they are doing something that is leading to treason, then I would say they are enemy of the country. And I feel because constitutionally these agencies are being given the right to arrest, to prosecute, you know, they should do the needful. Go after them. Let's know these people, so that we will know that these people are enemy of Nigeria. We will know that these people don't want the progress of Nigeria. And then you take them where the law will take its course on them. And then when they are being investigated, and then the facts being presented, then the law will tell what exactly is to be done, you know, to them. So I feel, like you rightly said, it is very key, it is very important for the DSS, the police, all the agencies that are saddled with the responsibility of really making sure that, you know, we grow this country, we grow this baby democracy that we are having. We will not allow anybody to just come and truncate it. But we should be aware that we have to do it by what the Constitution says. You know, you can't fight this thing outside the Constitution, because, you know, they said two wrong cannot make right. And then if you are saying this is what you are supposed, this is not what you are supposed to do, then what is the Constitution say you should do when you find something like this? And like you rightly said, you know, it's just like some people or some agencies are just carved out for some special people to do their bidding. And just like what the Labour Party are saying, you know, if they can bring out instances of all these threats, of this harassment, all this using religion and ethnic tagging to just rubbish some certain people or rubbish some certain political party, which is not acceptable by the law. You know, we saw how threats in Kano, not only Lagos, you know, we saw the Lagos thing really playing, you know, and then no even arrest, because DSS are saddled with the responsibility of providing, you know, sensitive information for police to act or military to act on it. And then when those informations are coming, you are expected to see that police are now being proactive, saying, okay, this is the sensitive report that we receive, and this is what we come up with. And then from there, you now take it to the appropriate court, that is the judiciary, for them to make the proper pronouncement. You understand?
I think this is the time where we need to see all the security apparatus working together to ensure that this threat does not materialize. Like we said, there is no place for interim government in the Constitution. This is democracy, and we must not allow anything or anybody subvert the democracy that Nigeria is actually practicing. Even though a lot of people will tell you, some of our politicians is just in like they just know that Nigeria is a democratic country, but they don't in practice. They don't even allow it. And no wonder you see some of them, they try to rig election by all means, even if that is not the will of the people. Like we've seen that playing out. There are some politicians that will tell you, oh, elections have been rigged for so many years. We know how these people do all of that. So how is it democracy? Democracy is supposed to be about the people. And because we don't want to go back to the days, like the days of old, like let it be about the people. Let it be about service to the people. Let it be about true representation. And that is what Nigerians are actually looking out for. So the DSS and other security apparatus must work together to ensure that this threat does not materialize. Most times when threats are given, we just ignore it
Ignore.
and wait until the action it is being perpetrated, then we start coming up with reactive measures. Before the gubernatorial elections, people spoke about all the threats that were